Hi, and welcome to Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. I'm J.W. Stewart along with Bruce Barber. Bruce, we continue to make history here on Charger 360.
Yes, we are now going to take you live in just moments to California.
We're actually going to have someone join us on Zoom for the first time ever. By the way, yours truly worked at ESPN and NBC, and I teach sport management here.
I used to be a shock jock, and now I run the student-run radio station here, 88.7 WNHU.
Our guest today in studio is women's rugby coach Emily Record. Our guest today, joining us all the way from California, is Sereana Vulaona. Sereana, junior rugby player here who plays for Team USA, and that is why she is in California and joins us on Zoom. Sereana, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Thank you for joining us all the way from California. Sereana, let's talk about your path to the University of New Haven first, and we'll start talking about Team USA. Where are you from, and how did you decide to come to the University of New Haven?
So I'm from Fairfax, Virginia, but I grew up in Fiji, and then after that we moved to Chicago. That's when I started rugby, and that's how I discovered University of New Haven. It's a funny story because at the beginning, when I got an offer from University of New Haven, I was like, I don't know if I want to go here because I don't really want to play rugby in college, and also I wanted to be involved more in track. And then the coach was like, okay, yeah, I get it, we'll get back to you. And then I was talking to other colleges, and then she gets back to me. She's like, okay, so you can do rugby and track at the same time. And I was like, okay, perfect. So yeah, that's how I got into University of New Haven. And yeah, that's how my rugby journey kind of started. So yeah.
And Team USA, let me ask you this. Have you gotten just some amazing swag so far? Just all USA'd out and everything?
I do have some, but I don't think they're going to fit you guys.
I in no way meant to infer, yes, I did.
We like it when people bring us free stuff, Sereana.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Coach, let me ask you, first where you're from, your path to the University of New Haven, and then tell us a story about how you recruited Sereana. What's your side of the story?
I grew up in Winsted, Connecticut, actually, and then I went to school in Philadelphia. I went to Drexel. I started coaching while I was in Philadelphia, and then I bounced around a bit. I was with the program that Sereana is with now, the Sevens program, as a video analyst, and I went out to Tokyo with them in 2021. But I really missed the coaching aspect, and so when the job opened up, I thought this was a great opportunity to come back, sort of towards where my family is. And I first saw Sereana play in Florida when she was a senior, and she had just come on to the high school circuit, and nobody really knew who she was, and she just kept getting better and better. And so I just shot her an email, and I was like, I'm sure every college is emailing you, but let's have a conversation and see where we can go. And she was correct. She was looking at it. She was talking to a lot of schools, but I think that we were one of the only ones that was going to let her do both track and field and rugby, because it was really important to her. And I think multi-sport athletes are fantastic. So, yeah.
So, Sereana, how did you end up playing for Team USA? Please tell us that story.
So, as Emily said, when she first saw me at Florida, that was kind of like my first game ever playing rugby, because I started rugby my senior year in high school. But right after that, the manager for USA, the pathway, so before you go into Team USA, there's pathways you go through, the U18, U23, and stuff like that. So I started off with 15s and stuff. I would come to camps here in California when I was in high school with sevens, and then 15s was my first ever tour to go out and play internationally. So that's how I got into it. And then right after that, I kind of tore my ACL the week before I had to move into college. So right after that, I got rehab, was coming back. And then after that, the sevens program was we would really like you to come out and try out. So right after rehab, I came out to California, tried out and stuff. And then it was just they had a fitness test. I wasn't really at the fitness test stuff yet, or the standards. So, but like right after that, the coach called me aside and was like, oh, like we like how you play. Like, could we work with you? So I think just from there, I started working with them. I would come out here in California like every time for like a camp, every like once a week, every month and stuff like that. So it went on until last summer. I got invited to go to play with the team in France. And that really was like, it was a really great experience to play with them. And then when school started in October, I think, like between September, October, I came out again for another camp. And I think like that's when everything started opening up, all the opportunities and stuff. And like the coach called me aside again the day I had to go back to school. She was like, oh, we really liked your performance. Would you come with us to our preseason in Australia? And this was with the actual like big team and stuff. And I think like that really got their attention. And then right after that, I've been coming out here more and more often and like just been training with the team and trying to get like on the selections to play with the team in their next series this season. So yeah.
Wow. And Coach, this must be so gratifying to you when you are able to provide students with these kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, and Sereana works really hard, and so it's just a testament to her work ethic that she puts in while she's here, that she's able to go out there and perform.
And that really is that's so much the thing that people. It's why I have such respect for student athletes, right? That college is really an experience where you get out of it what you put into it. And I think, it's student athletes really have to take it to an extra high level, obviously.
Yeah.
How rare is it, what Sereana just told us? She didn't start playing rugby till her senior year, and she's been able to make a national team or be in a camp for a national team?
I think it's pretty rare. The pathways start at like U14, U16, and a lot of the players will go sort of through the age grade pathway. But because rugby is still sort of a new and emerging sport, we often find athletes like on the later side. So it's not unheard of, but it's definitely on the rare side.
And Sereana, I'm not sure, can you hear me now? No.
Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay, good. So I'm wondering, you're taking courses via Zoom. You're training for Team USA. Do you have any free time whatsoever?
Oh, that's a good question. So sometimes, but most of the times, not really, because it's basically like a full-time job. Like we start the day at 8 and then we get back home around like 5-ish. And then like right after like that, like I get home, get ready, have dinner and everything. And I start working on schoolwork, which is due like at 8:59 and stuff. So like not really, but we do have our off days on Wednesdays and in the weekends. And like, I think it's like really great to have those off days to like kind of reload and everything and like see what I have to do and stuff. So like those 3 off days kind of give me like leeway to actually do my schoolwork, because right after like practice and stuff, like I'm just like so tired with like all the training and stuff, being out here and just getting back home and just like wanting to rest. But yeah.
Coach, how has Sereana's national and international experience impacted your program?
I think it's been great. I think she elevates the level of play when she's at practice, and I think it's been really good to inject that pace into ours.
Now, you were telling us before we came on the air that there's 2 different levels, and Sereana's talked about it as well. There's 7s and 15s, and we play both here at the University of New Haven. Please tell us, aside from the numbers, what the difference is between 7s and 15s and when you're playing, and fall versus spring.
We play 15s in the fall and 7s in the spring. 7s is the version that is in the Olympics, so it's often what you'll see on TV, and 15s is what people consider the more traditional version. 15s is a little bit more nuanced. There's more people on the field, so there's less space. Game's a little bit slower. The 15s games are 80 minutes long, and 7s games are only 20 minutes long. And so the speed of the game is a little bit different as well. There's just a lot more space on 7s.
Sereana, do you have a preference as to which version you play?
I do like both, because 15s, like, I know Coach Emma's going to get mad at me for this, but 15s, the position I play is a wing, and I feel like I get more time to rest and like I can wait and like I could walk to where I think, which I'm not supposed to be doing, but that's what I really like. But sevens, I really like, right now, I really like sevens because of like how fast the pace of play is. And also like there's more space to run to and where there's not that many bodies there. And also like people are not as big as like, like I'm not trying to say anything is bad, but like they're not as like, there's no bigger girls on sevens like there is on 15. So it's kind of like easy to tackle people and stuff like that. But yeah, I think when it comes to like playing and stuff, like I think sevens is really great, but the only thing I just don't like about sevens is like the fitness and like the conditioning you have to run every single time just to be able to like be fit. Because sevens is like a game like you have to be fit, really fit to play. So yeah.
Coach, your thoughts on this? you had some interesting expressions here in the studio.
I think both versions are running sports. You've got to be fit to play both. But sevens, it'll be the longest 15 minutes you've ever felt on a sevens field. It is brutal. Yeah.
So, which of the players that you end up recruiting are they generally, have they been playing for a long time, or are you able to work with someone who's fairly new to the sport?
We really get both, which is really exciting. So we get players who've played since they were 5 or 6. We've got a lot of players that start in high school, and then we will still get players that don't start until they come to us. And so we'll recruit athletes in high school that never played rugby, but that were athletes, and then we'll teach them the rugby when they come in.
Sereana, what are you majoring in, and what do you want to do with your degree?
I majored in criminal justice with a concentration in crime analysis. Right now, I'm not sure yet what I want to do with my degree, but I do want to go into like child violence stuff because I found that very intriguing, and also like kind of like investigation stuff. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of like looking through right now, but I'm not sure yet. Like I don't really have a good answer to like what I want to do yet with my degree. So yeah.
No, I think your plate is plenty full for right now. You can figure these things out as you go. We like to have all our guests kind of make the pitch to our viewers as to why you should consider coming to the University of New Haven. So, Coach, let's start with you.
I think it's a really good-sized school. We're not a tiny school, but we're not so big that you're going to get lost. I think for athletics, the opportunity to be a D1 athlete is like phenomenal. The support that you get from the athletic department is really great. And you're going to know your professors. I think that a lot of the professors, like you two, both have experience in the professional world. And so it's not just theory, right? A lot of it is like, well, this is what actually happens in the workplace, which is often different than the textbook. And I think that's really important as we get people ready to go out into the world.
And Sereana, we'll give you the final word here on Charger 360. Why do you think students or student athletes should attend the University of New Haven?
I think, like, as Coach M said, it's not a small nor a big school, and it's easy for, like, everybody to get what they want and what they're looking for. Also, I think for a person like me who's looking in majoring in criminal justice, this is a really great school to be here for and, like, be in a major. The professors are really great, and also, like, athletic-wise, like, the coaches, the athletic department, they're really great with coordinating with your academic, like, professors or whatever, like, with everything that's happening. And also, like, I think it's a really great school, like, to have fun and, like, also learn and play, which I really like. Like, it balances out, like, being an athlete and being a student, and, like, that's what I'm here for. So, yeah.
Well said.
Sereana, thank you very much for joining us here via Zoom and helping us make history here on Charger 360. Best of luck with Team USA, and we look forward to seeing you back on campus real soon.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me as well.
And Sereana, we thank her. Coach Emily Record, thank you for all you do for us here, building our women's rugby program and getting a chance to coach Sereana. Thanks for joining us here on Charger 360. We appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. All right, Bruce, another one in the books. That was fun.
That was great. USA. USA.
One more plea to Sereana to bring home some swag for us
just
if you
anything. Come on.
For Sereana, for Emily, and for Bruce, I'm J.W. Stewart. Thanks for watching Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. If you'd like to be on the show, it's pretty simple. All you can do is email us, bbarber@newhaven.edu, jstewart@newhaven.edu. Thanks for watching Charger 360. We'll see you next time, everybody.